I don't consider myself a talented person in the traditional sense. My talent was always, I could just outwork people. I would just grind harder and suffer more. Like, I was never like that kid who grew up with, just numbers off the chart. This guy's gonna be someone. I was more like, you should consider something else because you're bad, was essentially kind of like the feedback I got. And I hated when people kind of gave me that. You're not good enough to be here, you don't deserve it or whatever. I always thought I could do it, even if a lot of people didn't. And I think they were the catalyst for that sort of inner belief or inner drive. I don't know what the best word is for it, but whatever it was, it just never went away, and it still hasn't. I still have that drive and hunger to this day to just keep going and finding where my limits are, and to prove to everyone that I deserved a shot to be up there. And I just kept working away until I got that shot and got those results and got good enough to be at the top. I was never that confident champion. Inwardly, I was never confident in a lot of races. I'd go in very, the only confidence I had was from that process of the training, and that I'd put in the work, but I'd never go into it thinking, I'm gonna win this race. I'm here to win. And I'd just go thinking, okay, well, I've done all the work, I guess we'll see what happens. It was always the part that confirmed that I was in a space that I deserved to be in those races. Was I'd go back to, okay, well, you just did 100 hours in the last month. No one else has done that. You were putting in 30 hours a week, behind the scooter, diet, hours in the sauna, all this stuff. And that was what I leaned back on mentally. Okay, and that would calm me back down. But then, yeah, inevitably before any big race, I'd always have quite a bit of self-doubt. I think something that a lot of cyclists have in the back of their head, or at least I always did, was it's just that age-old saying well, if you feel like this and you've done all the work you've done to get to this point, do you think everybody else is feeling good, or are they probably suffering as well? And that kind of narrative always just played in the back of my head pretty much my whole career. It's so simple, but it really is if you're hurting, everyone else is probably hurting. I know I have a decent enough engine. As long as I'm fit, I should be okay. I haven't really forgotten how to suffer, which is still pretty much the most effective thing you can have to be a bike racer, is just if you can put yourself in the box for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, that's as handy as anything else. So that's still probably the biggest asset for any success I'll have, is just being able to hurt for a long time. When I was really training, I did have good numbers, especially the last few years. It became just robotic. I could go out and bang it out, sit at 420 for 20 minutes and, have great physique and power to weight and all this crap. That doesn't matter if you can't handle how bad you're gonna feel on day 5 of a stage race. It doesn't matter what you were doing in training, and when you felt fresh and your legs were nice and tingly when you were on a nice training ride. When you're in the box at hour 5 on stage 6, you feel terrible, and it doesn't matter. The numbers don't matter. And that was some of the best advice I ever got in my professional career. Was Michael Creed said to us, he's like, guys, it doesn't matter how you feel. You have to just go out and do your job, period. And that's effectively what you have to do, because you're gonna have days where you don't feel good and you're just grinding through it. You're just making do with what you got. And again, most of those days you're probably not gonna win, but some of them, maybe you do. And on the good days, you don't remember hurting, because you don't, obviously everyone hurts in a bike race, there's no way to get around that, but on the really good days, it doesn't hurt like it does on the bad days. The good thing about never being the most talented guy in the race is usually you have to learn everything else to make yourself successful. So I knew tactics pretty well, and could read a race pretty well. The bike race itself is always the same. It's once you're there, it's just sort of you're in it and you're switched on. But it's kind of everything up until go that I think is the nervous, uncomfortable part. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on inside, with the brain, but yeah, the end result's usually just getting on a bike and going for a ride.